Welcome to the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with the support you need to finish your book. Best part is, after you finish your book, they take care of the entire publishing and marketing process 100% for you. So, if you want to become a successful author, make sure to check out authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. I have a good friend of mine on today. Her name's Alessandra Patti. She is an Italian coach living in Zurich and founder of Find Your Way Coaching. She supports people and company teams to develop assertiveness. She uses psychology elements, language transformation techniques, and she provides workshops, seminars, and trainings on the importance of speaking up. She is also the co-author of Activate Your Life book, coming out on the 23rd of this month. So welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much, Tyler. Hi, everyone. It's an extreme pleasure to be here. I'm very honored.
Of course, and we're very grateful to have you here. So let's jump into the first one, Alessandra. The first one I got for you is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Okay, well, there are maybe a few stories. I was thinking about one in particular from my childhood, which is a little bit like, it's very significant to me. So I'm happy to share it. So when I was a little girl, I was about 3 or 4 years old, and I was in Italy. I grew up in Sicily, and I had the tendency of trusting everybody. Yeah, so I would hug just everybody coming along, the caretaker of the building, or, people I just met, and my mother was complaining all the time, like, oh, come on, you cannot trust everybody. You're a little girl, And once I got lost in a very big toy store, and my parents just got distracted and I got lost. And actually, I found a man, I asked him, can you just help me? I think I lost my parents. Yeah. And he said, wow. Okay. So he took me in his arms. And just, we went to the main place where you can actually have like the lost and found, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And there was a microphone, and he said, okay, this is little Alessandra looking for her parents, and so forth. And my mother was so grateful, and I was hugging, the guy. And then, for me, it's very meaningful because I learned one thing, many things can happen. Of course, you got to be realistic and have a reality check. But you can trust people sometimes, you can actually, hug people and believe in humanity. That's the message I want to give, actually.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that with us. The next one I have for you is, what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Okay. For me, my expertise is coaching and communication. For me, one of the most important things in the industry that I would like to say is just speak up. For both teams, managers, and companies, it is so important to communicate. You keep hearing this story of, communicate better, and everyone knows it. But sometimes I would like to say, really, speak up. Do not hide your thoughts and feelings. Try to analyze yourself, know what you want. And as soon as you know yourself, you will know what you need as well. And you know also what you can change. So for me, in the coaching industry, what I can say is assertiveness is always mixed with aggressiveness. And I want to raise awareness that actually it's not always the case. So speak up at work.
Yeah, no, I agree. You definitely need to. And then it could tie in, Alessandra, but what's your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, for me in business, one of the advice is actually be yourself. Do not use a persona where you're at work. Be who you are. This can clash, of course, with the people mentality, and it's not that it's always welcome. But in general, in business, I think the more you are yourself, the more people will get to know who you are and know your boundaries, and therefore they won't take advantage on you, right? It is easier said than done, but I think it is very important. And do not be afraid of showing your emotions at work. I mean, of course, with all the boundaries that my affirmation, of course, entails, but be yourself and do not hide who you are.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Learn German because I moved to Switzerland when 10 years ago, and I didn't know German, so I struggled, and I started till last year. So it took me like 8 years to speak it properly. So if I could give myself, the younger myself, an advice, I would tell her, go to school, learn a bit of German, so you can have a little bit of an advantage on other people or your future situation, and get a degree in psychology. I do have a certificate in psychology, but I think like I could have also had a degree, and that would have made a kind of interesting situation right now, because I use psychological elements in my coaching practice. So.
Well, guten Tag to that.
Yeah.
I know a little bit. I know Fliege, which I think is fly in German. But so.
You know a lot, Tyler. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, almost all of it. So kind of going a little bit down a different path here. I'm excited for your answer on this one. In your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Yeah, that's a very deep, important question. But I've been thinking about it, and for me, there are like a few things. For me, is do a job that you like, be affectionate to the people that you love, and tell them you love them, and don't take this for granted. I think happiness is, for me, is really tied, of course, also to the people that you have around. So tell them what you think and what you feel. And also complain less, because if you always complain, you miss the now and you miss your life. So actually, how can you be happy if you're constantly complaining, for example, right? So I believe a lot of in happiness from not complaining too much, and just being, and just, like I'm an action pro, let me put it that way.
And then what is the best book you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
My favorite book is The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, and it was written by Natalie and Brandon. So my learning from this book has been that you have the right to feel that you deserve things just by the mere fact that you exist. So some people think, okay, how can I dare to want something? Who am I to want that? Who am I to be happy, like on a deeper level? Well, you are somebody to be happy. You are yourself. You were born. You are a great human being. So just, have self-esteem and believe in yourself. So that's what, yeah.
And then what is your favorite quote and why?
Can I quote 2 quotes?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it. Yeah.
Awesome. So the first quote is from my favorite writer and poet, who is Fernando Pessoa. He was a Portuguese poet from the 20th century. It's great, so I really recommend. And the quote goes like that. I've never done anything but dream. This and this alone has been the meaning of my life. My only real concern has been my inner life. So I like this quote because actually he's telling you what reality is. Look, I have done nothing. I've just been dreaming like crazy, and been dreaming as, like open door for me that I couldn't think of. So that's why I love him. And then the second quote is very famous one from Nelson Mandela, but I love it, and I always mention it because I love learning. So education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So, learning is everything. Knowing stuff helps you really making an impact. So
yes,
those are quotes.
I agree, and thank you for sharing those. The last one I have for you, and thank you so much for coming on. The last one I have for you before we let you go is, where can our audience best find you online?
So there are many ways. So you can find me with my website, findyourway.company. And of course on Facebook, if you type in how to say no coaching or find your way coaching in Zurich, you can find me. And of course also on LinkedIn with my name and last name. So those 3 are my main sources.
Perfect. Thank you again for jumping on with us.
Thank you, Tyler. Very exciting. Thanks a lot.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.